Hello, everybody. Good morning. Good, happy post 4th of July, post 4th of July weekend. Wow. One of these holidays, you take the full weekend off. Just take the full weekend off. Oh my goodness. So this is the last day of the crowd fund for The Last Colony. And day after the 4th of July. I thought it's kind of fitting. I don't know. When it was first kind of starting out, when this campaign was going to start, this was the right timing. 60 days happened to be right here on the dot. So yeah, welcome to the show. Welcome to the TikvahMinds show. If you don't know me, I'm Elijah Loving, and yeah, it's a Monday morning. Feel a little fuzzy. I have, I don't know, several things kind of whirling around in my brain. One is kind of roll through it. I was looking at the news of the day, and we'll just bring in one at a time here. I got about 3 different articles, and then need to get cracking away at this last colony. I need to do flatting here, kind of clean this up. As I said last week, one of the things that we did, one of the things that happened 2 weeks ago, week and a half ago, is that we got a lot of the flats in and they weren't up to quality. So we needed to fix that. So we're fixing that. And so anyway, so that's what you're seeing here. And then we got a week to do all these coloring, and it's a busy week here at the Loving household. And let's start with this one. Let's start with this one. let's just dive into the deep end. Oh my gosh. Okay, so Cosby, I remember watching the show as a kid. Right? I remember watching the show as a kid, and it was just like, it was a pretty funny show. But clearly this guy, coming out of the Harvey Weinstein era. And there was, Krista, I think a Joe Rogan podcast. And one of the things he talks about in one of his podcasts, it's kind of funny how Joe Rogan almost sounds like he's a conservative nowadays. And it's just like, the dude's not remotely a conservative. Not remotely. It's not even it's not even close to him being a conservative. Not even close. It's but it's crazy to think that anyway, he sounds more like a conservative these days, whatever the heck that means. Because again, I'm not a Democrat, Republican, a bimbus, or a bogus. What do you want to pick? Neither. They both suck. But you got to make a choice. Lesser of two evils, right? Ugh, gross. Corruption's our biggest problem. Speaking of, so this brings us to Mr. Cosby and his corruption. I don't know if he's necessarily involved in the corruption. He is involved in the someone says something down here. Yeah, sexual assault. 60 women. Like this person. 60 women, sexual assault. Okay, so here's my opinion on this and why I think this is really interesting. Jeffrey Epstein did not kill himself. Neither did John McAfee. Nope, didn't happen. Didn't kill themselves. I think this has more to do with the Gosling Maxwell. I don't know her name. Whatever. The longtime ex, whatever you want to call her, girlfriend of Jeffrey Epstein. And she's the one that I think this ex. So essentially, because he was mentioned in a deposition, and they're using that as sort of the background to the case, to him ultimately getting charged with sexual assault. I don't know how many years he was charged with. 3 to 10 years. And he's out on 2. And it has to do with the fact that he was let out of prison for 2 years on a technicality because he was mentioned in a deposition, and this information was released because of a plea deal. Like, if you give us this information, we won't go after Bill Cosby. So they released the information in this other case. I can't remember which case it was, but anyway, he was mentioned in a case, and because of that, he gets out on 2 years. I think this has everything to do with the fact that Gosling, whatever, Maxwell rapist, or at least enabling the pimp, as we say, of enabling Jeffrey Epstein, that because she was mentioned in the Jeffrey Epstein's deposition, that's why I think that's directly connected to this, because Epstein was, I mean, just dive into that. Dive into that eyes wide shut or open universe. I mean, just go down that universe, and I think that's what's happening here, of why. So that, because if she's mentioned in that deposition, they're saying that, well, the precedent is now set that since Cosby's been allowed to be released from prison, that she should also, this Maxwell, whatever, Gosling, since she's been allowed to be let loose and freed, or well, they're going to use this case as that, so that she can ultimately be released from prison and not have to be sentenced to prison and all this sort of stuff, because of, I'm sure, because of the information she holds on political and figures. Bill Gates. Bill Gates. That's what this has to do with. And Epstein Island, Lead Express, weird occultist stuff. I think that's what this has to do with. That's why I think he was released. That's my take on it. I don't know. What do you guys think? Put in the comments. I don't know. What do I know? That's why I think that it's setting precedent, because you gave this information in confidence that you won't prosecute us. Oh, by the way, we gave this information about Jeffrey Epstein, so you won't prosecute Ghislaine Maxwell. Since you won't do that, then you should let us free. That's what I think so, because she is connected to way too many people. All the way to the monarch of England. All the way to that. So that's what I think this has more to do with. I don't know. Whatever. Good riddance. Get out of here. We don't need you. Don't want you. Hope you never come back. Don't let the door hit you on the way out. And there he is again. Like I said, it's just Joe Rogan. well, he brings out, and this is kind of leads into the next subject. And of course, like I said, with Joe Rogan, it's crazy how he sounds like, and he's not remotely whatever and again, whatever the heck does conservative look. I would count myself more as a liberal in the truest sense of, in the sense of liberalism, in the sense that we have the ability and the right to defend ourselves through means of liberty and purpose. And that can be through either and that's through, certainly, like you have, and this problem brings up so many pieces, like the corruption in our court systems or those types of things. But civilly, we have the right to defend ourselves, and we're innocent before proven guilty, and those types of things. And there's no doubt that I think our system is very broken. But anyway, which I'll get into Steve Rogers here in a second. I wanted to talk about him today. So Joe Rogan essentially talking about in this article, Hollywood actors claiming that they're essentially they're being led or pushed into being, pushing their woke agendas. If you won't get an acting job unless you, and that's exactly what happened to Gina Carano. That's exactly what happened to her. She didn't, toe the party line. She comes from an MMA, which is basically like busting your teeth, bust your kneecaps, and and she didn't, toe the party line. And so because of that, the vindictive Kathleen Kennedy, which is going to produce it's a terrible, it's gonna, oh my gosh, you guys, it's gonna be so bad, of Indiana Jones 5. Hey, don't judge, yeah, don't judge before it's hit it. Yeah, but the evidence is whatever. Oh man, it's just, it has bad written all over it. There's too many red flags. And it's just, if you don't toe the line, you're not going to make it as an artist. And the same goes, that's exactly what has happened to comics. That's why comic books, I think that's why, like Marvel and DC, if they've gone down this path of and which J.J. Abrams will undoubtedly destroy. he will destroy what do you call it? See, it's sad. The DC universe, because he's put the head of DC universe. It's just like not going to go well. So Steve Rogers no longer believes in the American dream. In the first issue of the United States of Captain America. What a guy. He no longer believes. I don't know. You can read this article. This is Bounding into Comics. It's one of their top articles. You guys can check it out if you want to. He no longer believes in the lie, blah, blah, blah. But the thing is he never gets, if you read through this, he never gets specific. Like, what do you mean? What lie? What lie are we talking about? I don't know. It's this writing these days of just like, be a little bit more specific here. Because that dream doesn't get along nicely with reality. What dream are you talking about? Other cultures, immigrants, the poor, the suffering, people easily coming to be seen as different or un-American. What are you talking about? I have no idea what they're talking about here. The white packet. The white picket, the white picket fence becomes a gate to keep others out. What are you talking about? White picket fence? Institutional racism, I guess. I don't know. Racism. We're at our best when we keep no one out, which is undoubtedly, oh my gosh, you don't watch videos of endless videos of children with no parents coming across the border. And I feel for those children like nobody's business. Oh my gosh. It's terrible because those children, and then they're put on some random bus and then carted off to some random place, who knows where. This sure sounds a lot like human trafficking. That's why it's a problem, because it's trafficking humans. That's why it's a problem. That's why it's a massive, massive problem. It's human trafficking. And the cartels are involved, and they're doing this human trafficking bit. And man, oh man. Stay in your lane, Steve Rogers. That's why it's a problem. That's why it's a problem. And there's these endless amount of kids. Pregnant 12-year-old girls. I mean, it's just, I'm making it up. Go find it out. Go look, whatever, Steve. Let's see here. The good dream is shared. It is shared, radically shared with everyone. When something isn't shared, it can't become the American lie. Sounds like a communist. Go live in communism, dudes. If you really believe in it, go live in there. Go knock yourself out. Be happy. Go join it. Enjoy the communist idea. You're welcome to it. I just go do somewhere else. Leave, please. Ugh. Let's see here. The lie is the real problem because it comes in the form of an empty promise. Oh no. All right. I'm done reading this. This is crap. They lied themselves bare. Oh, excuse me. Laid themselves bare. Sorry. Freudian slip. Oh. This dude is like, it's mayhem. Oh my gosh. It's just, what is going on? Honestly, I'm starting to wonder if I dividing more than uniting. Yes, this book is dividing more than uniting, 100%. Except now, this is not authentic. These would all be Antifa people. As the city's burning down. This is all Antifa. BLM. 100%. Yeah, you gotta hide behind the shield and blah, blah, blah. I can't hide anymore. I can't hide. Come out of the closet then. You can't hide. Done looking at the news. Enough's enough. So in the last colony, is the dream still alive? the last colony, the last stripe. Is the dream still alive? Here's the idea, and I don't know if I can articulate it enough, and we'll see as I draw here, and I don't. Is the dream still alive? Here's the thing. I wouldn't have named Tikva Inc. I would not have named it with the idea of hope, and that hope takes action. I would not have named it if I didn't believe in this sort of dream. Nope, wouldn't have happened. The other thing is that I wouldn't have made this story is about. So you know, of course, you have sort of these ideas of life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, and those types of things, and that we have that ability. In the bigger sense, it's not necessarily about my happiness per se, or another's happiness. It's about, ultimately, in my perspective, it's the ultimate is the happiness of Hashem. And I'm not trying to be. It's just like, oh my gosh, anything that we say, it's just like it's butchered, it's destroyed, it's ran over, and it's completely lost. And I guess that's sort of the frustrating thing. Is just like I'm kind of at a point in time where I'm like, how do I express or say this in a way? It's just like it can't be done. It can't be done. No matter what I say, it's going to get trampled on. It's going to get spit on, burned up, whatever. Go hide behind. This just, it drives you crazy. And I guess the thing is that I very much believe in this idea of an American dream, that we have the ability to hoof it out of the wilderness, so to speak, and make a life for ourselves, and take our lives into a way that has meaning and purpose behind it. That, for example, I follow the Torah to the best of my ability on a day-to-day basis. That's my thing, and it's not my thing. That's sort of, that's the thing. And that's the other part of it too. It's not a thing. It goes just to these much bigger sort of concepts that's rolling through my head, but it's just, there's essentially in the idea that the lie is that the government isn't to be worshipped. It's not this entity of like, we all bow down to it and follow what it says. We have the ability as a juror member, for example, as a juror member, you have the ability to judge if it's just constitutional law. This isn't Federalist Papers or some sort of crazy thing. This is constitutional law. As a juror, you have the ability to interpret the law that the person is being judged on, in terms of found guilty or not guilty. And if the law is a bad law, you have the ability to say, well, even if they did commit quote unquote crime, that's a bad law. Not guilty. And then it goes through up the chain of all the way to Supreme Court if it does. And they can decide if they want to, no other country has ever done this. Now, does that not mean that we can't improve or get better or be much bigger? Absolutely. And that's where, within the frameworks, that we can be able to do that and reassess and reevaluate and reinterpret pre-existent common law, which was the whole concepts that were built into the Magna Carta. And then it was taken even further with the Constitution. And it should be taken further to defend people's liberties and the ability to protect ourselves, the ability to lift up others, to create and develop inventions and ideas that never would have been thought of. That doesn't happen in a communist country. It just doesn't. I don't know. I probably should cool down a little bit. I just, I, the thing of it is that we're, it's a lot of what's happening, I think, is that we're being divided in every which way possible. And I think that's the mode, and that, and instead of us being forced into, Jews and others being forced into gas chambers and those types of things, we're voluntarily doing it now. Instead of being forced at gunpoint or put into these concentration camps or those sort of things, we're voluntarily doing it now. Those are, I think, are the deeper parallels. Like for example, like this is a ghetto. This digital this digital thing we're in. It is a form of a ghetto. I suppose it's what we make of it, and that again brings back the ideas that hope is worth fighting for, defending, and pushing for. That we have the ability to realize our purpose. That's why I chose the name Tikva, because we have the ability to realize our purpose. And I chose this story and wrote in part this story with my wife, that we were working on this particular story. It comes from the root that in order to have these ideas of life, liberty, pursuit of happiness, we first have to learn to love our family. And the ideas of fathers have been completely destroyed. Like fathers, I mean, so here's the thing about what is fathers, is that, when a kid's born, the child learns that, you get physical sustenance from the mother. You get your life comes from the mother. Okay, got it. But then the no strings attached love comes from the father. And the kid needs to learn that. Otherwise, they become psychopath murderers. That empathy and that foundation comes from the father. And yes, fathers make mistakes. Mothers make mistakes. Parents, my gosh, parents make mistakes. Parenting is one of the most difficult things ever. But that stability comes from the father. When bad things happen, if there's no father, the mother can certainly do it. And the mother can certainly make ends meet and bring in the bread, so to speak, for the house. But the father brings this ability of love and unity and uniting under a single purpose and direction. Now, the mother can certainly point the father in a certain direction, and she can definitely, you might want to look this direction. You might want to be there. But that unity comes from the father. When the father's having problems and he's struggling and those sort of things, there isn't unity in the house. There it is. So the last colony, is the American dream still alive? In a lot of ways, they're still fighting for having that unity. As you will find out in the first really chapter of this book, it's again the introduction of those characters, but it's the introduction of these ideas of the fathers uniting the community together. And that can be bad or can be for good, which is what takes wisdom and insight and those types of things in terms of different situations. But that also brings the fact that we're not given all the information. So decisions, maybe the right decisions aren't necessarily made because we're not given all the information, which brings in the whole corruption thing. And that's certainly where the last colony goes. Those are concepts in the last colony in this comic that we're working on. It's not meant, and I'm not. I want, and I know these are deep concepts. I know these are deep concepts that are not necessarily, not necessarily easy to articulate. And I'm not the most articulate person. I mean, I can problem solve something like nobody's business, but explaining it, I do. It's taken time to struggle with. But I was the kid that was told, nah, you can't do comics, you can't write, all those types of things. I was in the because of I couldn't read. I was thrown in the classroom with the underclass kids. Kids of other color, kids all over the place that were just essentially bastardized, left in the corner to fend for themselves. Those were the classrooms I was thrown into because I couldn't read. And that opened my eyes in such a way of like, we're literally having to come out of this idea of, and I don't mean necessarily physical slavery, but we've been put under debt, which is the true definition of slavery. And that debt that we owe something to someone else has helped us become this institutionalized, corrupt nation. So yeah, I don't believe in that lie, but I do believe in the dream that we can lift each other out of those situations. And make it place on this earth that is peaceful. And that will encourage others to do the same. So and again, I don't mean this subject to be deep, and it's not. And the last colony that's where these concepts that they come from the heart, in the sense of that's where these places, these ideas come from, of what this story is really about. And I've said it over and over again, the distances that we would go for our loved ones. That's, to boil it down, that's what these things mean. The distances we would go for our loved ones. And how far is that? And are we ultimately willing to pay that ultimate sacrifice upon the altar of freedom? That's what this story is about. And it has sort of like a the movie I Am Legend sort of a thing kind of comes to mind, but the book is entirely different. You should read the book. It's actually really, really, really good. It's really good. You should read the book. But in any case, that's I don't know. What do I know? I'm just some bloke. I don't have necessarily all the answers. I'm more than willing to listen to another, and that's why I do this. That's why to promote these ideas and to put it out there so that others can counter back, and we can have a meaningful discussion on these things. And I hope that this story, we intend to do this story, and even though these are deep, hard topics to grapple with and discuss, that the story is done. I hope we can match the idea that it's done in a very entertaining and exciting way, that again, with the ideas of lifting others. And there's, I very much do. Anyone that's joining the military, especially these days, just craziness going on. I tip my hat to you. and certainly a defense. But over my lifetime, the military, unfortunately, has been used in not the defense, but complicated issue. I don't understand the wars that we're in. It don't remotely make sense to me. I can't put my finger. It just drives you crazy. These sort of hard concepts. But in any case, I hope this story is done in a very entertaining way that brings to light the importance of how far are we willing to go for our families. And most of us, the answer is easy, all the way, all the way. And we're willing to put our lives on that idea for our children's children. That's what this is about. And yeah, like I said, it's done in sort of this way of that's entertaining and twists and turns and betrayals and unities that seem impossible, and compromises and successes, failures, all of those things. That is, it's a war drama in the sense, but that's more of the background, I suppose. And it's more about the characters and how would we ultimately get through this and try to move to a place or a plot of land that we can have that is peaceful. That is peaceful. It's one of my favorite things when, like, what is it? Winners from, if you've ever seen like the Easy Company movies, Band of Brothers. Is it Band of Brothers? Band of Brothers, yeah, that HBO series, which was very well done, and I love the interviews at the beginning of each one of those episodes. That was probably my favorite part. And he was it Lieutenant Winters or whatever he was eventually by the end. He's passed since, but he essentially said that he was gifted a particular gun, and he wanted his plot, after seeing all that violence, he wanted his plot of land where he could just be peaceful. And that gun that he received at the end of the war, I think from a German officer, that he said it's never been fired and it won't be. It won't be. As that symbol of peace, of what they fought for, the meaning of what they fought for. Of course, they were the ones to find the cost to start the process of finding those concentration camps, the breaking through that denial. That's the biggest thing that we have going on right now, the denial of corruption. And until that denial, we get through that denial, the genocide continues. Sunshine and rays, rays of sunshine. That's all we are on this January 5th, July. We'll get there. We're in 2022 now, right? Whatever. That's all I got. Jeez, what do you do? What do you do? I'll do it this way. Cover up those lines. Oh, I do that. Here, I didn't put it in here, but the bleeds are. Well, I can show you. I have to do it for my other thing. Bring that in. templates. Speaking of, I was doing that tune. Over the weekend, I heard the full national anthem. You should find that out. Look for it. It's pretty cool. The full one, not just the 2-verse one. I think there are 3 verses. Pretty epic. Is it this one? This one. Yes. Yeah, it's pretty epic. You should check out the full national anthem. What page are we doing? So stuff like this that just makes such a huge difference. Switch your colors and all that sort of stuff. What is going on here? I can hit my buttons, right? Here we go. I normally don't. This. So that could be on a layer that's bleeding over, which looks like it is. What's going on here? Okay. So that's another layer on top of, so I'll have to fix that. There we go. Sometimes it's easier just to start over. Get rid of that layer. Pop this one in. There we go. Nice. I bleed over the edge just in case. You just never know. Never know. I've deleted a lot of the stuff. I'm paring it down because it's just like, ugh. All right. It's 4, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. This is 6. This is 5. 7. There we are. It's actually pretty good. Not sure what's going on here. Yeah, sorry, I'm not talking a whole lot right now. So I roll. When I'm working, I just kind of focus in. I'm gonna finish up this guy, and then I'm gonna head off the stream. Other things to do here. I'm holding down Option right now. Should probably mention, just start talking about that. I'm holding down Option right now, and so it's kind of a nice little shortcut. If you hit Option when you're first starting out, you'll get the negative lasso. But if you whatever you start off with, that's what it will basically. So it'll basically be. And then let me just inverse this and bam. Delete all the goofballness that was bleeding over. Probably delete this too. Cool. Very cool. Good. And then this one I want bleeding over all the way to the edge here too. It looks pretty good though. The reason why I'm looking is that you don't want any of the white to show through that you don't intend to. Just bleeds like that. You're just looking over. That's all you're doing. You just don't want anything obvious or glaring. That looks pretty good. There we are. Very cool. Save that. Okay, so that's kind of a cleanup. I'll go through each one of these. You guys, I hope you have an excellent week. We'll still do our live streams on our TikvahMinds show on Thursdays at 4, and we'll do our we'll still do that. Also, be on the lookout this week on Wednesday or Tuesday, tomorrow maybe. I think Wednesday. We have our color theory video coming out. And the audio is not the best with it. It's based on what we have, and we'll just try to think of a better way of doing the setup. And I think the big point and reason why I'm mentioning it here is the importance of just getting started, moving forward, and progressing. That's the whole point. And it's difficult and hard, but it's important that we do that, right? And we keep moving forward, keep learning, keep growing, all those types of good things. So you guys have an excellent rest of your day, and we will see you on Tuesday. Like, subscribe. It certainly does help with that algorithm. More important, we want to encourage you to go to ElijahLoving.com and check out that. This is the last day for and of course you probably might hear my kid in the background. This is the last day for the crowdfund, and we actually over the weekend got another $25 for that. So thank you to those individuals, which is really exciting. And yeah, getting this whole thing finished up, and that's kind of our next task to do. You guys are awesome. We'll see you later.